The Triumph Scrambler 400X. Well, since the Triumph 400cc bikes were in their testing phase and there were a lot of spy shots over the internet, I somehow developed a keen interest in these bikes. So as soon as the Triumph Scrambler 400X was launched, in a few weeks time I managed to get my hands on it for a pretty decent test ride. It was at this moment that I was convinced that this is the bike I need to get, as it complemented my riding style pretty well, considering its on-road and off-road capability. Well, in this video, I'll be sharing my ownership experience with the Triumph Scrambler 400X over the last 8,000 kilometers that I've ridden. I've done one major ride, that being the South India ride of roughly around 2,500 kilometers from Goa to Coorg, Ooty, Valparai, and back via Mangalore and Kerala. Besides some pretty intense off-road trails and much more. So I felt it was just about time to make an in-depth ownership review, having had this bike for over 4 months now. I won't be getting into the specs of this bike because, as you all know, it's all over the internet. To start with, I wouldn't say the bike is all perfect and there aren't any flaws. Of course, no bike is perfect and there is definitely scope for improvement. But we'll get back to that in a bit. First of all, that 400cc engine that makes 40 PS and 37.5 Nm of torque is definitely going to put a smile on your face every time you pull that throttle. It shares the same engine as the Speed 400, but somehow I felt the initial power delivery on the Scrambler is a bit linear as compared to that on the Speed 400. Nevertheless, it is very refined and the gearing ratio is very well integrated. You could find yourself at speed breakers doing 20-30 in third gear without having to downshift to second and still pick it up in the same gear without any engine stress or knocking sound. The tall gear ratios and low end torque is perfect for city commuting in traffic as well as on those off-road trails. I've never stalled the bike on any off-road trail or hill climb. There was an issue initially with the engine stalling frequently between second and third gear, but I'm assuming that was a software issue because when I addressed it at the service center, they said it was a common issue with all the initial customers and it would be fixed with an ECU update. Post the ECU update, I haven't really faced that issue again. If you were to ask me about the engine heating and vibration, well, it does heat up quite a bit, but that's totally normal for a 400cc single cylinder. With regard to vibration, again, being a 400cc single cylinder, it's prone to have vibration, but the vibrations are really noticeable post 120-130 kmph. That aside, you're truly gonna enjoy this engine on the ghats and cruising on highways. I managed to hit a top speed of 160 kmph, but yes, I'll agree this engine does not like to be pushed up to that speed. Its ideal cruising speed would be somewhere between 90 to 110 kmph. Coming to the handling and ergonomics, that has to be one of the major highlights of the Triumph Scrambler 400X. Although it is slightly on the heavier side, it does feel heavy turning it around when parked, but out on the road, it feels very nimble, flickable in traffic, thanks to its great weight distribution. Saddling on this bike seems effortless and perhaps enhances the whole off-road experience. The footpack position allows you to grip the tank well while saddling. To add to it, the upright sitting position and wide handlebars gives you a commanding view of what's ahead. Basically, you sit over the bike and not in it, unlike the RE Himalayan. The seat height may seem a bit on the taller side for an average Indian, but if you master the right skill, trust me, the seat height would never be a concern. I myself do tiptoe being around 5'6", 5'7", but it's never been a problem. You'll get accustomed to it. The rider seat is very comfortable and spacious. The pillion seat is in fact more comfortable as compared to the Speed 400 seat. That's the feedback I got from someone I've taken as pillion on both bikes. If I were to rate the handling and ergonomics of the Triumph Scrambler 400X, I'd definitely give it a 10 on 10. Next up, the suspension. Again a big win for Triumph Bajaj for getting it absolutely spot on. The suspension tuning is a perfect blend of smooth off-road capability to soak up bumps and inspire great confidence when cornering on ghats. The longer wheelbase, additional suspension travel and 19-inch wheel on the Scrambler does make it a bit slower to switch directions instantly on fast approaching hairpin bends and curves. as compared to the Speed 400, but I don't see anything wrong with that. Overall, another plus point for the suspension setup. If you were to ask me about the mileage I've been getting, well, I've done multiple mileage tests during my South India ride and now recently. The max I've got is 33 kmpl riding on highways and roughly around 27 to 28 kmpl on the Ghats and city. On an average, you should get a mileage close to 30 to 31 kmpl, but again, that depends on a lot of factors, how you maintain your bike and your riding style. If you want me to make a separate in-depth video of how to maintain your bike during monsoons or before a long ride or any general daily checks and maintenance tips, do let me know in the comment section below. That aside, you can expect a full tank range of around 280 to 300 kilometers or even more if ridden economically. The tires and the grip it offers are quite good, to be honest. 19-inch dual-purpose tubeless tires in the front and a wide 140 section at the rear. Be it tarred roads, wet roads or loose mud, they're definitely confidence inspiring and offer a good feedback. However, the front brakes aren't the best. The Scrambler 400X comes with organic brake pads stock which do not have a great bite. Nevertheless, switching to the sintered brake pads on the Speed 400 should fix that issue. Not to forget the exhaust note. Let me just start it up for you and show you how it sounds like. It's got a nice bass and rumble to it. I personally think it sounds amazing. To add to it is that dual barrel exhaust which again looks aesthetically pleasing. Coming to the electronics and features on offer, it gets traction control and switchable off-road mode which is quite handy besides 2 trip meters, instantaneous fuel economy and distance to empty. I'm glad it doesn't get any unnecessary features like Bluetooth and turn-by-turn navigation that I'd never use. The mirrors are practical and offer a decent view of what's behind. Having spoken about the performance and other aspects of the bike, a major concern when buying a new bike is the after-sales service. And I'm glad that the service experience in Triumph Goa is beyond exceptional, be it attending the minor issues, warranty claims, or availability of spares. Everything is taken care of professionally. The technicians, the manager and the whole customer service experience has been brilliant. I got my front brake lever replaced under warranty during my first service. The first service cost me around Rs 4,773. That's inclusive of a few accessories that I got installed. Leaving aside the accessories and its labor charges, a regular first service should cost you around Rs 2,000. Triumph claims a service interval of 16,000 kilometers or 1 year. But I wouldn't want to push my bike so far. So I'll be getting my second service done and an oil change at around 9 to 10,000 kilometers. Well, let me just take you around and show you the few accessories that I've installed. First up has to be this engine guard right here, the low one. The upper one that comes stock fitted. I happen to put this one from Triumph itself. Next up, I put this visor. You can see this again is a Triumph genuine accessory, but yeah, I did put a slight dark tint on it. These auxiliary lights you can see here on both ends, and the tank pad. So the tank pad is another accessory. To conclude, I'd say if you're in the market looking for a bike that can do it all, be it off-road, highway cruising and long distance touring, the Triumph Scrambler 400 is a great all-rounder. It's a true scrambler and it definitely serves the purpose of a scrambler motorcycle. There's multiple reasons why I did not consider the Himalayan 450, although they're kinda in the same segment and price range. First of all, Royal Enfield's reliability issues and lack of consistency in their quality, tube tires, the weight, and the fact that it felt very bulky. It's just my personal opinion. It could differ from person to person. And I did ride the Himalayan 450 and there's a bunch of things that I did like about it, but still, it just wasn't to my taste. I was considering the KTM 390 Adventure X, but there was something about the Scrambler 400X that stood out. Don't get me wrong, the KTM 390 Adventure series of bikes are extremely capable, feature loaded, and very well engineered bikes. But from a value for money point of view, the Scrambler 400X offered a little bit more in comparison to the KTM Adventure 390X. Be it traction control, the premium fit and finish, and a minor price difference all seem to align well and make it a better proposition. No doubt, if I could stretch my budget, I would definitely get the KTM 390 Adventure spoke wheels, but till date, I am more than satisfied having got the Triumph Scrambler 400X. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, if you found it informative, do give it a thumbs up, do like, do share, do comment, and most importantly, do subscribe and hit that notification button. If there's anything you feel I missed out on, do drop it in the comment section below. And yeah, do follow me on Instagram at alistair.37. Until next time, take care, ride safe, and bye bye.